Good afternoon, everybody. Boa tarde, meus amigos. Sejam todos bem-vindos. Today we have a very special celebration. We are going to be celebrating 5 glorious years of the Brazil-Florida Business Council, and also celebrate outstanding contributions of a good friend of the Brazil-Florida Business Council, a founder of the Brazil-Florida Business Council, and great friend, Ronaldo Verano, a founding partner of the Verano Advogados, who is going to be receiving the 2020 Lifetime Achievement Award. So, as I said, today is a very special day, and I am so pleased and honored to have our mayor, our great mayor of Tampa, Jennie Castor, our great Consul General of Brazil in Miami, Ambassador João Mendes Pereira, and our good friend who is going to be honored and receive the award later, Ronaldo Verano. As I said, today is a day of celebration. And some of you may not know the history behind the founding of the Brazil-Florida Business Council. 5 years ago, after the passing of my husband, Tony, I surprised my family members and good friends that I was going to be staying in Tampa Bay and not moving back to Brazil or to where I was from, New York City. I decided to stay in Tampa Bay. Not only that, I decided to open a binational organization in Tampa. And that surprised a lot of people, including my friends. So honestly, some of them thought that I was going crazy because I had just lost my husband. And I was opening this organization in the middle of recession in Brazil. So they really thought that I was going nuts. No, I was not going nuts. One of my mentors once told me that during crisis, you're going to find opportunities. And that's exactly what we did. And today, we are in the middle of a global crisis, and we continue to be positive that things will pass, as all crises have passed. Of course, this is an unprecedented crisis, but will pass. And we have to be hopeful. You have to stay positive and continue on course of the mission that we have established for the Brazil-Florida Business Council. So I am so glad that we continue to have the support locally from the business and public sectors. And I appreciate again, Mayor Castor, for supporting our organization, for participating in this special celebration. And of course, the highest representative of the Brazilian government, Ambassador João Mendes Pereira. So without any further ado, I would like to pass the floor now to our great mayor, Jennie Castor.
Thank you so much. And it is such an honor for me to be here to celebrate the 5th anniversary of the Brazil-Florida Business Council. You know, Brazil plays an important part in our community and really is woven into the fabric of Tampa, both economically and culturally. And if we look from an economic standpoint, you know, we have Mosaic headquarters here, which deals with Brazil on a regular basis and has a very strong presence in Tampa. And then the port of Tampa, Brazil being the largest customer and importer in our community there. And then from a tourism standpoint, if we look at some of our attractions here in the city, Busch Gardens, number one participant or visitor to the Busch Gardens is the country of Brazil. So we have an incredible relationship, and I'm so thankful that we have put this council together and that we're able to celebrate the 5-year anniversary. Now, looking at the economy, clearly well challenged in this time of a a COVID-19 pandemic. And so now this council has been important from its duration, but more so now because we are all challenged by COVID-19. And so we need to work as closely as we can on the economic front and the cultural front to ensure that there aren't any missteps and we really don't lose any of the momentum that we've all worked so hard to be able to accomplish. So I could not be more excited to be on the panel today and to hear some of the comments and possibly some of the ideas that we could all share in how we could move not only this council forward, but we could move the city of Tampa and our nation forward as well, working in unison. Now, just to tell you a couple of the things that we have done, put in place here in the city of Tampa in response to COVID-19. One of the decisions that we made early on was to continue with our development. We have 52 main projects going on, large scale projects going on in the city of Tampa. And so we decided to keep those moving because they employ thousands of individuals. And then if we look into the future, when they're completed, they will employ thousands of our residents and citizens here in the city of Tampa. And so we hired a medical director, and we put safety precautions in at each of those locations. And very, very proud of that, the success of that program. We've been able to forge ahead on those projects, but also we've only had at one location four positive COVID tests and one at another out of 52 of these development sites. So we're very, very proud of that and our ability to forge ahead. I am on the port board, and so we also have been able to continue. Clearly, we've had some setbacks as far as the cruise lines are concerned, and we've worked very closely at the port with the cruise lines to be able to accommodate all of their needs and to keep those ships in the Tampa Bay area. But we have forged ahead at the port, and we're doing very, very well with the imports and the exports there. And so I would be anxious to hear any feedback or any suggestions on ways that we may be able to improve that, if there's a thought, feelings in that area. And so, just very excited to try to get our airlines, our airport, they are gradually getting back up to speed. They're far from where they were in the daily number of passengers out at the Tampa International Airport, but we are gradually rising up to that mark. So we're also looking at not only getting back on our feet economically, but looking to open up and be at a point where we can welcome tourists back. As far as the progress of the pandemic, the news is not so good. In the very beginning, back in March, we were lauded not only as a region, the Tampa Bay region, but really as a state for being able to, as we termed it, crushing that COVID curve. Where it was up, we were able to keep the increase in cases to a minimum, didn't have any surges in our hospitals. But unfortunately now we have opened up some establishments that have allowed younger groups of residents to congregate. And so we're seeing a number of cases in the younger ages who are able to get through the virus relatively easy in the majority of the cases. But we are concerned about our elderly population and those individuals that may have some comorbidities. But we have no doubt that we will be able to, to weather this COVID storm, this pandemic, and get back on our feet as far as tourism is concerned as well. So that's sort of an update from here in Tampa. Our weather continues to be wonderful, and we are open, and we are welcoming of all of our Brazilian family members and friends.
Thank you very much, Mayor Castor. And I also have to praise you and congratulate on your outstanding leadership during this time of crisis. At Tampa, we are very fortunate to have a leader of your caliber and facing this awful crisis. But you bring a lot of confidence and to all of us, the residents of Tampa, which I am very proud of. So I just wanted to let you know that I feel very fortunate to live in Tampa under your leadership. So thank you very much. And you know that you can count on us.
Thank you. I appreciate that very well. I have to give a lot of credit as well to my predecessor and good friend, Bob Buckhorn. He did so much to lift our city up and really has put a lot of the development that we're seeing today was all put in motion prior to him leaving office. So a great deal of credit goes to those individuals that have really built Tampa into what we have today, which is an amazing international city.
So at this point, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the honorary chairman of the advisory board of the Brazil-Florida Business Council, Ambassador João Mendes Pereira. Ambassador.
Thank you. Good afternoon, distinguished guests. It's a great honor for me to be here once again with my esteemed friend Sueli Bonaparte, founding president and chairwoman of the board of the Brazil-Florida Business Council. Today is a special occasion. We gather here to celebrate not only the 5th anniversary of the BFBC, but also to present the 2020 Lifetime Achievement Award honoree, Mr. Ronaldo Veirano. I also wish to extend my appreciation to the incredible work done by the Brazil-Florida Business Council. The work, not only Brazil or the United States, is facing unprecedented circumstances. The International Monetary Fund projects that the global economy will contract sharply by 3% this year as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. This new world, this new normal, it will be imperative to count on entities such as the BFBC to enhance the economic ties between Brazil and the United States. My friends, since President Jair Bolsonaro took office in January 2019, Brazil has maintained a special relation with the US. During this period, he has visited the United States in 4 different occasions, the most recent just last March, when he met with President Trump, business leaders, and community representatives in a 3-day visit to Miami. Our continued partnership with the United States is a top priority to the Brazilian government. Much as there are pending bilateral issues to resolve, our return to warming relations with the United States provides the chance to seek innovative and feasible opportunities for both countries, paving the way to implement greater understanding in the economic, commercial, and financial fields. The Technology Safeguard Agreement, TSA, is an example of such cooperation in the technology and defense field. With the recent successful return of the US managed space flights, such agreements will allow other US companies to launch satellites at a lower cost from the Brazilian Alcântara Space Center. The support from the US government to our candidature to the OECD is also well appreciated. Dear members of the BFBC, when it comes to the role of Florida, the state will continue to have a strategic partnership with our country. Brazil has been consistently maintaining its position as Florida's main trade partner. In 2019, even considering the negative outlook in the international trade, such as concerns about the global economy and trade tariffs, the total trade between Brazil and Florida grew about 2.8%, reaching almost $21 billion. This figure not only consolidates Brazil as Florida's #1 trade partner, but also represented twice as much the amount traded between Florida and China, its second main economic partner. Regarding tourism, Brazil is the third larger issuer of tourists to Florida, behind only of Canada and the UK. No doubt, the numbers for 2020 will experience a decrease. The Consulate General of Brazil in Miami and the Brazil-Florida Business Council have the challenge of promoting commercial ties between both countries, and particularly with Florida. It's our goal to identify opportunities and to help businesses to navigate through these difficult and challenging times, and we count on the BFBC support in order to do that, especially for the West Florida region. Ladies and gentlemen, the Brazil-Florida Business Council gathered a great number of personalities that deeply understand the importance of strengthening the partnership between Florida and our country. Among these people, the BFBC is fortunate to have in its ranks Mr. Ronaldo Veirano, member of the advisory board of the council and founding partner of Veirano Advogados, one of the leading law firms in Brazil. Mr. Veirano is currently a member of the executive committee of the Brazil-United States Business Council, the Brazilian section, and member of the advisory board of the Brazilian Institute of the Woodrow Wilson Center in Washington, D.C. For many years, he was a board member of the American Chamber of Commerce in Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo. Recognizing the importance of Mr. Veirano's works for Brazil, the Brazilian government awarded our honoree with our most important decoration, the Order of Rio Branco in the rank of Commander. I take this opportunity to render my congratulations to my fellow citizen, Mr. Ronaldo Veirano, and I would like to show once again my appreciation for BFBC's initiative of presenting him with the 2020 Lifetime Achievement Award. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you very much for your comprehensive presentation about the Brazil-US and Florida relations and the importance of these economic and trade relations between our regions. So I appreciate your great presentation and for introducing our honoree. Here is the award, Lifetime Achievement Award, given to our great friend, a member of the Advisory Council of the Brazil-Florida Business Council, Ronaldo Veirano, founding partner of Veirano Advogados.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for the technical problems that I'm having. I hope that they will not last very long. The Honorable Miss Jane Castor, Mayor of the City of Tampa. The Honorable Ambassador João Mendes Pereira, Consul General of Brazil in Miami. Ms. Sueli Bonaparte, Founding President of the Brazil-Florida Business Council. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to start my acceptance speech by thanking the Honorable Ambassador João Mendes Pereira, Honorary Chairman of the Advisory Board of the Brazil-Florida Business Council, for the very generous and highly complimentary introduction. Secondly, I would like to express my deepest appreciation to the Board of Directors of the Brazil-Florida Business Council for their decision to choose me as the recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award for this year. Although I suspect that my dearest friend, Sueli Bonaparte, whom I have known for more than 20 years, that she was responsible for running the Brazilian American Chamber in New York, played an important role in this decision. However, one very important detail this audience is unaware of is the fact that Sueli's email informing me that I had been selected to be the recipient of this year's award arrived a couple of days after I had celebrated my 80th birthday. As you can imagine, I was elated by the news, as I could not have wished for a better present to commemorate 8 decades of existence. Previously, I had received 2 other Lifetime Achievement Awards. The first one from Chambers and Partners, a very prestigious British legal publication, which ranks lawyers and law firms around the world, and the most recent one from Latin Lawyer, a highly respected legal publication, which is sort of a Bible for lawyers interested in Latin America legal matters. In both cases, the justification for the award were my contributions to the legal profession and my career as the founder and chairman of Veirano Advogados, one of Brazil's largest law firms. However, what makes the Brazil-Florida Business Council Lifetime Achievement Award so special and unique is the fact that it's given to individuals and corporations who have contributed to the social and economic development of the country in the sector they represent, and who have promoted bilateral business and investment opportunities between Brazil and the United States of America. In addition, it will give me great honor to join the company of my dear friend, Brigadier Osiris Silva, who was the first recipient of this award. As you may know, I have had a long and fruitful relationship with the United States since my youth days. First contact with the country was in 1957, when I was awarded a scholarship by the American Field Service and went to Saratoga Springs in upstate New York to live with my host family and attend the senior year in Saratoga Springs High School. After graduating from law school in Brazil, I worked as an associate lawyer for Baker & McKenzie's São Paulo office before returning to the United States in the fall of 1966. In June 1966, at the age of 56, along with most of my partners and associates at the office, we decided to leave Baker & McKenzie and start our own independent firm. We were then 25 partners, starting a dream to create a national firm with international connections. Today, 24 years later, we are approximately 280 attorneys operating in 4 major cities of Brazil: Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo, Porto Alegre, and Brasilia. Throughout my career, I maintained close relationships with law firms, companies, and friends in the United States, attracting to Brazil major investments in a variety of sectors, from infrastructure to mining, oil and gas, telecoms, and including industrial and commercial areas. I am extremely proud of our firm's achievements in this respect, as I firmly believe that such investments have made a significant impact in Brazil's social and economic development. On a personal note, and to reinforce my ties with the United States, I would like to mention that while my wife and I lived in the United States, 2 of our 3 children were born there. Reading recently about the retirement of the CEO of the Heineken brewery, I came across his remarks about some lessons he had learned along his career. First, he said, "If you want to receive, you better give." Second, he added, "If you want to make a career, deliver the goods. That means always perform well on the job you have now. And last but not least, if you make mistakes, then admit, apologize, and repair." I'm convinced his remarks relate pretty closely to the lessons I learned along my career, which have served me well. I would add a couple of lessons of my own. If you want to succeed, do your work with utmost passion, and do not forget to surround yourself with people that are better than you are. On that count, I would like to take this opportunity to send a message of appreciation to my partners, associates, and staff, some of whom may be watching us on their computer screens. I'm perfectly conscious that I could not have accomplished all that I have accomplished, but for their unstinted support and assistance, for which I shall be eternally grateful. I would also be remiss if I failed to thank my family, and especially my wife, Beatrice, for having put up with my long working hours and in my endless trips, promoting Brazil and trying to find work and new clients for the firm. My most sincere thanks to them with whom I would like to share this most important award. I hope to continue working as long as my health will allow it in promoting to diminish the social gap that exists, working with organizations such as the Brazil-Florida Business Council, and with people like yourself, Sueli, who really make the difference.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Congratulations again. And Ronaldo, that's part of the globe that shows South America and of course Brazil here in North America, USA, both countries linked. And you have played a very important role in regards to that. So this is a very symbolic award given to you by the Brazil-Florida Business Council, which reads again, Lifetime Achievement Award, awarded to Ronaldo Verano, partner Verano Advogados, June 24, 2020, by the Brazil-Florida Business Council.